Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. NVIDIA reports fourth quarter earnings this coming week. Stock is currently trading at $135. Is it a buy before the earnings? This is what I'm going to cover in this video. It takes a lot of time and effort to make these videos, so please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Let's first look at what is the expectation. As you can see on the screen, NVIDIA guided for revenue of $37.5 billion plus or minus 2%. NVIDIA mentioned the following. This guidance of revenue incorporates continued demand for hyper-architecture and the initial ramp of Blackwell products. While demand will greatly exceed supply, we are on track to exceed prior Q4 Blackwell revenue estimate of several billion dollars as visibility into supply continues to increase. Expect gaming revenue to decline due to supply constraints. Now, with respect to margins, NVIDIA expects 73% gap plus or minus 50 basis points. NVIDIA stated the following regarding the margins. As Blackwell ramps, expect gross margins to moderate to low 70s. When fully ramped, expect Blackwell margins to be in the mid-70s. Let us now look at the track record for past few earnings. As you can see on the screen, they comfortably beat the revenue and EPS targets for the past few quarters. Therefore, there is a high probability that they would do the same this quarter. However, what's more important, it's not the earnings and the EPS beat, rather the guidance for both first quarter and the full calendar year of 2025. So in addition, there will be a lot of curiosity on what NVIDIA thinks about DeepSeek R1 model and how it affects the demand in the future. Of course, we're not expecting NVIDIA would say that demand would reduce, but it would be interesting to hear their take on DeepSeek. All hyperscalers announced their 2025 CapEx for AI. It is in the order of exceeding $200 billion. TSMC also ramped up the production, and therefore, it may not be too hard for NVIDIA to meet the demand for hyperscalers. Now, let us look at the valuation. I shared in my previous video about NVIDIA regarding 2025 revenue expectation for them to be able to get the $200 stock price by end of 2025. Now, as you can see on the screen, NVIDIA is expected to ship 60 to 70,000 GP200 AI servers in 2025, costing around $2 to $3 million per unit. Now, this depends a lot on the ramp up of the Blackwell architecture. If the ramp up hits any issues, this may not happen and NVIDIA's revenue may take a big hit for 2025. As discussed in my previous video, I take the midpoint of that unit shift and price to get to $165 billion of data center revenue for 2025. Now, based on past revenue weightage, I assign $15 billion coming from the other revenue segments, such as gaming, automotive, and professional visualization. If you need more details on this, please watch my previous video. I will leave the link in the comments below. Now, let me show you the valuation I did in my previous video. Now, as you can see on the screen, the total revenue I assumed is $180 billion. $165 billion will come from the data center, and $15 billion comes from the other segments. I am estimating 55% net profit margin to get close to $100 billion of net income. Now, this number is extremely important. If NVIDIA guides for less than $180 billion of revenue for 2025, they need to get better margin than 55% to make up for the gap in revenue and make $100 billion of net income. If not, fundamentally, it is hard for them to get to 200 price target by the end of 2025. So, the question is whether NVIDIA is a buy before earnings or not. Now, before I give my perspective, please note that this is not financial advice. I'm not qualified to give financial advice. I'm simply recording my thoughts about NVIDIA. I am expecting that earnings will be great, looking at hyperscalers AI CapEx and TSMC's production ramp up. I feel that the guidance will be very good. I personally think that it is a good time to add to NVIDIA as 2025 is looking good for them. Now, whether NVIDIA can do well in 2026 or not, this is still unknown, as 2025 will be a pivotal year to determine the AI monetization potential. If the potential is not great, AI capex budget will get smashed in 2026 and NVIDIA will take a big hit. So, short term, I feel comfortable in NVIDIA's investment. Now, for 2030, you can watch my video on 2030 realistic valuation video to get an idea about my price target for NVIDIA. I will leave the link in the description as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.